Hey everyone, Lucid Motor Group is one of the newer electric vehicle companies really trying to ramp up production and deliveries and increase revenue getting going. Now, in 2024, a lot of investors are asking where could Lucid's stock price end up? And so in this video, I wanted to look at Lucid's prospects for the coming year ahead and answer where I think Lucid's stock price could be. So let's get right into it. Let's look at this stock price prediction.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so let's look at some of the estimates we're going to use. And the first estimate that I'm going to look at that I'm going to use here is for Lucid's 2024 revenue estimate. So for 2024, analysts expect Lucid to generate $1.37 billion in revenue. So keep this figure in mind. We're going to use this as one of our estimates. Additionally, we're going to use Lucid's price to sales ratio as of this recording as 11.71. That's down significantly. It used to trade at a price to sales of 33. Now it's down to 11.71. So we're going to use this valuation metric to determine a multiple on which we will place on Lucid's sales. Another figure we're going to use is Lucid's weighted average shares outstanding. As of this latest update, Lucid says they have 2.284 billion shares outstanding. I'm going to assume this is still Lucid's weighted average share count, even though this may have increased since its latest update. Lucid's average diluted shares outstanding. The number of shares outstanding is an important financial metric. If a company issues more stock because it is running out of money or it wants to invest in a new growth project, it has the potential to decrease your earnings per share. Look up here, when I have a net income of 1,000 and shares outstanding of 100, my earnings per share is 10. You take the net income divided by shares outstanding and you get 10. But now let's say you increase your shares outstanding to 200 and you have the same net income of 1,000. Now your earnings per share is just 5. The same is true in the opposite direction. If a company is losing money on the bottom line and it issues more shares, it spreads out the losses across more shares, thereby reducing the loss per share, which is a tricky way to reduce the loss per share. Look at this point here. A net loss of 1,000 with 100 shares outstanding creates a loss per share of 10. But if you take that same net loss of 1,000 and you spread it across more shares, 200 shares, you now have a net loss per share of just 5. So it's a tricky accounting trick to get your losses reduced on earnings per share. So you want to take a closer look to see where the improvement in the loss per share is coming from. That being said, you can see how it has increased to this latest number we just highlighted at 2.284 billion. That's up from less than 1.8 billion starting January 2023. So you can see how Lucid has diluted shareholders significantly in the last year and why it's likely to continue, because the company is still losing a lot of money on the bottom line and it needs to make more investments to grow to a scale to reach profitability. So this isn't surprising. This is something that nearly all investors in Lucid stock should know. All right, so now let's look at my model for valuing Lucid stock for 2024. Now remember this figure, diluted shares outstanding 2.284 billion. I got this directly from Lucid's financial statement. Also remember the total revenue analyst estimate for 2024 at 1.37 billion. When I take this total revenue estimate and divide by the shares outstanding, I get a sales per share number of 60 cents. I use that 60 cents here to predict my stock price. Now, if Lucid's valuation price to sales ratio remains at 11.7 and the company delivers the 60 cents in revenue per share that's expected for 2024, the company's stock price could rise to $7.02. Now, that would be a meaningful increase from the $4.21 Lucid stock price is trading at as of this recording. Further, if enthusiasm increases for Lucid stock, it could increase to a price to sales ratio of 15, which would make the stock price rise to $9 per share in 2024. What could cause optimism of Lucid stock to increase? Well, one thing could be production increases. In the latest update, Lucid said that it's reducing its production outlook for 2023 to 8,000 to 8,500 vehicles. Previously, it had said it was going to produce 10,000, and before that, it had said it was going to produce 12,000. So if the outlook for 2024 is much better than expected, and then Lucid increases that as the year goes on, it keeps telling investors, look, it keeps getting better, we're getting positively surprised, and it keeps increasing, then Lucid stock investors would be willing to pay a higher valuation for Lucid stock. So it's not always good news. What if Lucid's price to sales ratio falls from 11.7 to 7.5? That could make the stock price go to $4.50, which would still be higher than the $4.21 it's trading at as of this recording. So even if the valuation decreases, if Lucid sales increase as analysts expect, the stock price could still increase for 2024. But what if things go really bad and investors become really turned off from Lucid stock and its price to sales ratio falls to 5? Well, then the valuation could fall the estimated stock price to $3 per share. And given that it's currently at $4.21, that would be a roughly 25% decrease from the current share price, which would not be a disaster, right? If you've been a Lucid stock investor from the beginning, you've probably lost a lot more than 25% in that time. So another 25% would not be a disaster for Lucid stock investors. However, they would not be happy with that result. That's understandable. Hopefully, Lucid does deliver the revenue estimate it is expected to deliver and maybe goes above that, and the valuation remains the same and the company continues to progress with its ramp up of production. It recently introduced the new SUV model. If that shows high consumer demand towards the back half of the year, that could boost enthusiasm for Lucid stock. So there are catalysts that could boost Lucid in 2024. However, it does need to execute and deliver on those estimates because the hype has been removed from most electric vehicle stocks. 2020, 2021, those were the years that these stock prices were just fueled by enthusiasm and hype with little to nothing to back it up. Now investors are asking these EV companies to back it up, to show us sales, to show us production, to show us progress towards profitability, and companies need to deliver in order to get that stock price to increase. So if you were to ask me where I think Lucid stock price could be in 2024, my estimate would be a wide range. It's going to be volatile. It's hard to predict precisely what valuation investors will place on Lucid stock. Will they become more enthusiastic or will they become more pessimistic? So if I was to give my best estimate, I would say Lucid stock could be anywhere between $3 per share to $5 per share. I know that's a wide estimate, but it's because this is such a volatile company and one little change causes such a big increase or decrease in the stock price. It's hard to pinpoint a narrow range with companies that are this volatile. Hopefully it comes in at the upper end of that target estimate. Thank you for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. I know there's a lot you could be doing with your time and a lot of other videos you could be watching. So I truly appreciate that you chose to watch this one. If you want to see more videos just like this, hit the subscribe or the like button. They'll both help me make more videos just like this one. Thank you again.